This is the Pixel 6 Pro. It looks different, it feels different, and even the insides are different. But is being different always such a good thing? Let's find out. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, BMAC. And if this is your first time here to this channel, welcome, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you smash that subscribe button with all notifications turned on so that you never miss another video on this channel. And if you've been here before, or if you're already subscribed, welcome back. So yes, indeed, today we are taking a look at the Pixel 6 Pro, the latest and greatest Pixel device to be released from Google. First things first, I wanna give a huge thank you and shout out to Google for sending over this Pixel 6 Pro, this gift from Google for me to check out. But with that having been said, the review of the Pixel 6 Pro, let's get into it. First things first, let's start things out as we often do, talking about the Pixel 6 Pro design and how things are looking on the exterior of the newest smartphone. The first thing you're gonna notice right off the bat is the full edge-to-edge front LTPO OLED display with curved edges, a camera hole cut out at the top, and all this is complete with a very unique, very recognizable, and very distinguished camera band, if you will. I guess that's what we're calling it now, a camera band. So first up, let's talk about the front under-display fingerprint sensor. It's an optical fingerprint sensor, so you place your thumb on it, it lights up, it'll recognize your fingerprint, and boom, you're in your phone. Some reviews have said that the fingerprint sensor is too sensitive, too finicky, or just downright too slow. But I can honestly say, in my experience, I'm considering the under-display fingerprint sensor to be a non-issue. It's always seemed to be pretty snappy for me, very responsive. I can't even remember the last time that it didn't recognize my fingerprint, so maybe it's just me, but I'm liking it. But one thing that is different about the Pixel 6 Pro that I love is this. No more wobble. Kinda love the fact that we have a protruding camera module that goes across the entire length of the phone to create this band, because no more is it just like in one corner of the device, and now when I put it down and I'm actually using it, the thing's not wobbling. And the last thing I wanna comment on is the overall glossiness kind of feeling you're getting on the Pixel 6 Pro. And again, this is totally different than the experience you used to have on Pixel devices in the past. I've always loved this matte back and these matte sides. It's just something that I've grown to love about the Pixel devices. It feels kind of plasticky, even though it's not, because you do have Gorilla Glass on the front and the back of the phone with a polished alloy frame in between. So if I could change anything about the design of the Pixel 6 Pro, for one thing, I'd probably square off the edges. You guys know I loved squared off edges. And then I probably would add back a matte finish to the back. That's just something I think that's kind of signature of Pixel phones, or at least clearly it used to be. Nevertheless, in the Pixel 6 Pro, you are also getting an IP68 water and dust resistance rating. And in terms of colors, you are only getting 3 different color options with the Pixel 6 Pro. You could get it in either cloudy white, sorta sunny, or my personal favorite, obviously, stormy black. Overall, a pretty phone. Overall, a much different phone, not a phone you'd kind of come to expect from Google. It's totally different than what we've had in the past. But something else that is quite different with the Pixel 6 Pro is the display and how things are looking when you're looking at the phone. The Pixel 6 Pro has a 6.7-inch 120Hz Quad HD LTPO OLED display with curved edges. The display itself looks amazing. It's HDR certified. It's got a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio and allows up to 500 nits of manual brightness. But with all those impressive display specs, there's one feature in particular I just mentioned there that I do not like, and that's the curved edges. By definition, I don't think the curved edges of the Pixel 6 Pro are waterfall edges, but they're pretty darn close, and either way, I just don't like curved edges, especially when it comes to the display itself. Usability, no problem whatsoever. But simply in terms of aesthetics, I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the feel of it. I'm not a curved edge fan. That's all there is to it. But please don't get me wrong, the Pixel 6 Pro display is in and of itself amazing, but besides the design and the display, Google also completely changed the performance of the Pixel 6 Pro. So what's going on the inside? First and foremost, and probably the most exciting, Google is now putting their custom chips into Pixel devices for the first time with Google Tensor. This is actually pretty huge and very interesting. Google Tensor is Google's way of producing their own chips, which focuses on machine learning, which is going to make the Pixel work more cohesively and in an optimized manner so that Pixel devices now and well into the future are capable of more and able to be more efficient in terms of battery life as well. From taking more intelligent photos and even fixing some of the mistakes in those photos to perhaps live captioning for longer durations without negative impacts on battery life, there's so much more that Pixel could do now more efficiently and in a more optimized manner because of Google Tensor. This on top of the whopping 12 gigs of RAM you're getting built into this bad boy really does make this thing a performance beast. Android runs on the Google Pixel 6 Pro, especially Android 12 in particular, so smoothly, and I'm able to multitask and get everything I want done seamlessly. Sometimes I forget that I'm on a smartphone and that this isn't a tablet. That's how great the performance is of the Pixel 6 Pro. And you're getting 3 storage options this time around with either 128 gig, 256 gig, or 512 gig options, which in my opinion is more than enough for most of the things you're gonna be doing now, especially with cloud options so readily available. So from a performance standpoint, I'm super happy. This thing is a beast. Google has really brought it this year with the Google Pixel 6 Pro performance, between Google Tensor, the 12 gigs of RAM, lots of local storage. I love using this thing and I do not feel held back by anything I'm trying to do from this phone in the least bit. But more about the camera system on the Pixel 6 Pro and more about this camera band that you probably keep staring at. On the front of the device, you're getting an 11.1 megapixel f2.2 fixed focus selfie camera, while on the back of the device, you're getting 3 separate lenses, a 50 megapixel f1.85 OIS wide lens, a 48 megapixel f3.5 OIS tele lens with 4 times optical zoom, and a 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide lens, with video recording capabilities up to 4K 60 frames per second on the rear cameras and 4K 30 frames per second on the front camera. And as you probably guessed by now, I'm in love with the Pixel 6 Pro camera system. I've always loved the camera system on Pixel devices. There's just something about Pixel photos and videos that are just so beautifully balanced between contrast and colors. You have this unique kind of just image quality that you sometimes just know right away was taken on a Pixel device. And I'm still gonna put this on the record. To this day, I still appreciate and think that Pixel devices take the best portrait mode photos because their edge detection is just second to none. Now, aside from the fact that the ultra wide lens is only 12 megapixels, I just noticed the ultra wide angled lens not really performing all that well in low light situations. In brightly lit situations with adequate light, I've not had a problem with the ultra wide. It's just as you would expect it to be, but even with night mode enabled, just the night mode photos I'm taking with the ultra wide aren't really all that great. They're just muddy, not what I would hope to get out of a night mode photo, especially on a Pixel device. And this is probably in part because of the slower aperture and also the fact that there is no optical image stabilization in the ultra wide angle lens. But perhaps if Google could change that in the future, you'd have a 3 camera system with all 3 being awesome no matter what situation you're in. So just a little bit more work needed there on the ultra wide to really make this thing what I would consider a grand slam. But with all that going on, let's talk about something that's also very important, battery life. How long can you actually expect the Pixel 6 Pro to last for? The Pixel 6 Pro houses a 5003 milliamp hour battery, and Google is promising that you should get upwards of 24-hour battery life. And in my experience, the Pixel 6 Pro lives up to its long battery life promise. I'm getting probably around like 6 hours consistently of screen on time, sometimes a little bit more, perhaps sometimes a little bit less, depending on what I'm actually doing, but I cannot recall a single instance in which the Pixel 6 Pro did not last me a full day. Usually it's lasting me pretty far well into a second day. So I can't complain about the battery. With all that's going on in this phone performance-wise, camera-wise, pretty awesome to see it lasting as long as it is. And with the Pixel 6 Pro, you could, yes, wirelessly charge it with options to fast wireless charge it with the new Pixel stand that's available. And then if you wanted to hardwire charge it, you could do that as well. You do get fast charging, so you will get that 0 to 50% charge in just 30 minutes. That benchmark I love to see with fast charging, you do get that on the Pixel 6 Pro. And I almost forgot about this, but you do get reverse wireless charging as well. So if you ever need to charge up your earbuds on the go, you have the option to do that. But with all that having been said, and there was a lot that we covered there, here are my final thoughts on the Pixel 6 Pro and whether or not I think it's a smartphone you should check out. Without any shred of a doubt, Google has really brought it this year with the Pixel 6 Pro. Google's clearly making a statement here on making this their flagship phone. It's hands down the best, most powerful Pixel device Google has ever made, and it's really looking to be a really good sign of things to come if we're gonna continue to get Pixel devices that are this impressive and most importantly, at the price points that these phones are selling for. And I think that's the drive home message here. You are getting an insane amount of value in Pixel phones now. We kind of always have, but now more so than ever before. But I do think there's a little room for improvement. Get rid of those curved edges, give us matte sides and perhaps a matte back. Beef up that ultra wide just a little bit. Google, you do those things, and my goodness, I think you're gonna see even more users than you already see today walking around with this thing because, again, value. An insane value. As always, if you guys are interested in learning more about the Pixel 6 Pro or just to snag one of these beasts for yourself, you guys could always head to my affiliate link, bmac.link/Pixel6Pro, bmac.link/Pixel6Pro, or as always, there will be a clickable link in the video description box below as well, so be sure to check that out. And with that having been said, I'm just gonna go keep customizing this thing. That's one thing I love about Android, customization, custom animated wallpaper, custom icons, custom widgets. What else could I do to customize this thing? There's always something. There's always something. I will see you guys in my next video. That camera band though, it's growing on me. It's iconic. You know, when you can start to recognize devices based on their design, it's a pretty good thing. Wonder if Google will come out with glasses that look like that. I'd cop them. Pretty cool, don't you think? Probably looks actually a little bit weird.